Windows 10 DNS resolution via VPN connection not working. In Windows 10, when connected to a VPN with split tunneling enabled, gateway disabled, DNS resolution always uses the LAN DNS servers, ignoring the DNS servers and the DNS suffix set on the VPN connection. The expected behavior is to use the VPN's DNS servers, otherwise it becomes impossible to resolve DNS entries on the remote network, such as domain computers. This was working properly in previous version of Windows. This was widely discussed on this Microsoft Answers thread.
I have fixed this problem permanently by manually setting the metric of my LAN connection to a higher value than the metric of the VPN connection. This can be done two ways. Through the GUI, Network Connections and GT, Properties and GT, double-click IP4 and GT, Advanced and GT, uncheck Automatic Metric and GT, enter 15 for Interface Metric and GT, OK and GT, OK. Command line, netshint IP set interface equals LAN connection name metric equals 15. The effect is immediate, at least when using the command line, and DNS lookups now go through my VPN as expected. This works with split tunneling and is a permanent fix across reconnections and reboots. Note for IP6 users, you will need to change the metric in your LAN IP6 properties as well. Depending on your environment, you may have a different default metric for your VPN connection. Simply adjust your LAN metric to a higher number than your VPN's. Note that you could also change the metric of the VPN instead of the LAN connection, but this wouldn't be permanent as Windows resets the metric when the connection is established. Furthermore, if you find that you cannot edit your VPN's TCP/IP properties because that was also broken in an early Windows 10 build, you can set most properties through PowerShell. Alternatively, see this answer below for a way to solve this permanently for a given VPN tunnel with PowerShell.
I spun up a fresh install of Windows 10 and a VM to test on after seeing this issue on every physical Win 10 machine I have. I tested all of the answers in this thread and none of them worked. I discovered that the solution is to combine the answers posted here by Keenans and ECC Dan. This URL: Control Panel and GT, Network and Sharing Center and GT, Change Adapter Settings and GT, right-click your Ethernet or Wi-Fi adapter and GT, Properties and GT, double-click IP4 and GT, Advanced and GT, uncheck Automatic Metric and GT, enter 15 for Interface Metric and GT, OK and GT, OK. On that same Properties page, double-click IP6 and GT, Advanced and GT, uncheck Automatic Metric and GT, enter 15 for Interface Metric and GT, OK and GT, OK. Only after changing both of those settings is the issue resolved. I tested changing either one back and it breaks again. After changing both I ran lookup from command line and it returned the DNS server on the remote network where the VPN is connected to, whereas otherwise it would return the local DNS server. I then used Wireshark capturing on the Ethernet interface, did some pings to random websites, and verified that there were no DNS packets captured. This proves that after making the changes, DNS queries are being sent only over the VPN connection, and not simultaneously over all connections, which is known as the Win 10 DNS leak. So this is also part of the solution for the Win 10 DNS leak. this URL. Note that fix the DNS leak, you first need to do the steps above. Then you need to set 2 registry values. The linked articles only list one, which by itself does not fix the issue in newer builds of Win 10. Set these registry values. Only after doing all of that, will your DNS client behavior be back to the way it was in Win 7. You have to wonder how this got through QA at Microsoft.
Find out the network index. Mine was the VPN with index 11. Changing the VPN interface metric from 30 to 1. Verifying the change.
In my case, I found that browsers and pings could not resolve DNS when I was connected to VPN, but DNS lookups could. This link helped resolve my issue, this URL. The part that worked for me was running these 5 commands in a command prompt with administrator rights.
If you want to support my channel, please consider subscribing.